never deny it. Because he knows this to be true. Some of you people thought I was never going to prayer service of one night. Yeah. Because I went to campus. I'm not prayer service because I want to prayer service. I'm prayer service because we said yesterday, former President Bill was right private jet. But the total worker has more to power is right private jet for the other world of my life. Yeah. What I would speak. Because people in certain years talking about passing over to my phone. Spend my whole morning to bring him to power because we thought the road yesterday was going to be like me. Yeah. I have no regret to vote against 1% here. But the people that are brought to power will regret why I have to vote for them. This country is a better place and will be a better place. Yes, sir. Because there's money in the country that we can live for. We don't need money from outside. So, but we don't want to empower people here. We say that I'm lawbreakers. We have become lawbreakers. We have become criminals. We put all the money in the pocket for ourselves and leave them out. I want to challenge some of your lawbreakers. Some people say they want this to up. They're breaking all the law. The law is breaking the law when you want to go out. You know how people want to go out? Because they want to increase the time. They say they are too short. You cannot be against them. Then you want to walk through. You cannot be a lawmaker against the person the law that we made ourselves. Then you say you want to say that then you waste your time. Nobody can be for them one way because of me. But what we can people is not happening and it will never happen. The good thing they are there for. When that people for them one way and say that people don't know that one time they didn't want to say what was it called. But they say that over there is what they are going to put to what it is. They are the person that need work and the person that they put to the water. We can talk about people, but some people are happy. Because it is a time to be happy. It is nobody's time when the country is not better. It is everybody's time when the country is better. And we give them as a challenge to all of you. 2029, we may be qualified for the presidency. Wherever you will come here and say, Brother Sacramento, you people will have to appoint a commissioner for Saturday. Brother Sacramento, they are educated people. It's not about education. It's about how well you work on the people. There are people that can be really know nothing. The good transfer with interest they want to get cheap that people. Our marketeers will come to power. In every country, at least 2 million and bring out for marketeers, split them out and gather boys to empower themselves. The money is there. But everything is not going to carry the business up. Because we are close. So we have to from your family and the fact that the single ruling and the amicable and everything and the position statement for local who is better for Nigeria is here. And that the way forward is the forward is possible. For peace. Then when brother come now, he is the chief and coming there. They not there, won't be there. And you know where you just take it all kind of way, brother, all kind of things. You want to go after people? Then, you know, the CDC control the one out in the upper hand. So they went all kind of way, all kind of things they did. On the 15th, they did a lot of things. Because of many problems. Yeah. When they sell it, they did let it sell it. Then, something happened. Almost now to Zombie House, and the brothers had to the money. They didn't tell me they had it. So, then when I heard what was happening, we were making money to come. Our name and our money. Good money. You could rescue us. Not to rescue the country. No. We did it. Therefore, we settled. We compromise, and we believe we in Almighty have resolved this.
When they were coming, they said they were liberators. But when they came, they changed their mind. When they came,
oh, yes, indeed. What a pleasant way. I'd like to welcome all of you, just wherever you are this morning. It has been raining too much water. Oh, yes, it's good to be here. And of course, when it's raining like this, you can understand it becomes a little difficult to leave the bed. But look, man, the household waits for no man. You ought to wake up this morning, get out there, children's school fees, food, and all the responsibilities are out there. And of course, all of those responsibilities do not see the rain, the cold. All the care is, of course, they must be taken care of. So you have to wake up this morning, get out there in the rain, if you're not one of the privileged politicians who lie and receives thousands and thousands of the taxpayers' money, you better get out there and go hustle. If you're not from one of the privileged, very privileged few, please get out there because there's absolutely no excuse for a responsible man. You must foot the bills. Today is another day that reminds you about how difficult or how very important it is to be a distinguished parent, a distinguished family head. Because look, when it's so very difficult to wake up from that bed, your responsibilities are pounding, of course, knocking you. You know all to wake up. I mean, you just have to. And there's the deal, we are here, back again, energized, and of course to engage on the issues that matter to Liberia's growth and development. This is the Freedom Money Rise of Freedom 87.9. Whenever you hear the tone, you hear the sound. Where are the freedom fighters? Our economies are in tatters. Businesses are crying. Life has become unbearable. Family heads are losing grip on their families. No more authority. This society was one where authority will be centralized around the head of the home. But the head of the home today is incapacitated, no job, no salary, no school fees. The kids are sent after their uncles. Uncles then plenty. Anybody you get to know that uncle, go to Uncle John, go to Uncle Paul. Papa second see left. This is where we are today. Difficulties everywhere. Sat in one restaurant yesterday in the heartbeat of Monrovia, Central Sink, rooftop restaurant for an hour plus. No single individual entered. We were the only people. And I sat there wondering, how is this restaurant surviving? To rent an apartment in Cinco right now, you have to be talking about around $15,000 to $20,000 yearly. Take for say a rooftop pays like $15,000 or $16,000 annually just for rent. And then they run a wage bill of $3,000. When you add that to the 16, you're talking $19,000 right there. Government taxes and all that. All the small fees, city government, Ministry of Commerce, this other inspection, fire, service, blah blah, put on to the, let's say 1,000 change. Talking 20,000 change. Just to run that restaurant in Cinco. Electricity. Right? We're talking electricity. We're talking gasoline or fuel per annum. I find that the people in government, the president, and other people just don't care because Waka has not, managed anything for himself. So when we are saying these things on behalf of the business people, it's not grab. The president is not grabbing what we're trying to say.
When they were coming, they said they were freedom fighters. When they were coming, they said they were liberators. But when they came,
at $20,000 in change per annum to run a restaurant, for example, in Cinco. Considering the rent,
You freedom fighter,
a salary of 3,000.
freedom fighter, you feel in our children.
Government bills,
You sign our country. Aye,
fuel. For fuel, we say, let's say, I'm just doing a rough estimate, right? I may be plus or minus. Mean the minus. Let's say 6,000 or 7,000. You're talking 27,000
When they were coming, they said,
for that very restaurant.
when they were coming, they said they were liberators.
Guess not more than 10 persons a day.
When they came here,
And of that 10 people a day,
what kind of people they saw?
most of them are buying $10 shawarma, $5 pizza.
Freedom
Let's
fighter,
say 6 persons buying pizza with soft drink, $1 or $2 soft drink, then with $5 pizza at $30. So
sign our country.
black guy, old black guy. Things are tough. Really, just take time and speak to the business people. Things are difficult. But folks, welcome, good morning. And of course, just wherever you are, this is the Freedom Morning Rise and Freedom 87.9. It's good to be here. And of course, there are too many things to talk about this morning. And of course, we're going to be looking at some of those issues that are making news in the country. And of course, we were told on yesterday there was a crackdown on quote unquote unrecognized institutions as operating in Liberia, providing certificate or diplomas or degrees, whatever the case is. But the Commission on Higher Education came down very hard yesterday and all that. And also, as part of the conversation, the head of the National Commission on Higher Education also intimated that nobody should be using an honorary doctoral degree as an academic degree or whatever. I really do not understand what they mean by that and how significant, how really important that is even, right? In any case whatsoever, because when a person is drafting their resume, it will absolutely be included as an honorary doctoral. So where when you take social media nonsense and you try to make that a government policy, this is stupidity in the highest extent. But I'm not surprised. This is the kind of government we have. They are a gossip style government. They are trivial propaganda style government. So when one takes it down and say, oh, honorary doctor, yeah, of course, everybody is doctor. So let's see what you will do. Right? For people using, we not call everybody doctor. So that what means that the reason why people not get food to eat it. And people take their time and they just say you're just saying. Or you're stupid, they are foul. Social media posts say the sound is low. They can fail with that. So let me see what I can do. So you're free, let me know what I do. I'm sure it's going to be better. Right? So, but that's what the government says that's a priority, right? Nobody in the country. The reason why we get food to eat in the country is because people using honorary doctoral degree. So the president said nobody will use honorary doctoral degree anymore in the country. As soon as you stop using honorary doctoral degree in the country, everybody will get food to eat. Nobody will get sick in the country again. Flow will not enter anybody's house. And this is a waste of time. You take a bunch of liabilities and wow. And all this, they are not spending their time thinking about solving problems, creating jobs, right? Creating jobs, putting the youth to work. Look at the number of young people that are not working. This very president was heard during the campaign period on different platforms talking about insecurity, right? Vulnerability, risks, and all of that. But today, what is happening, right? There is this video trending on social media. Somebody please send it for me, right? Where is there? I don't know, somewhere in Marshall. A lady came from Canada or where, and then people just went to her house. The, somebody said the friend, the lady, and all that. I've actually not seen it, but I'll let you see. And match that with Waka's comment. So Waka said that the streets of Monrovia, yeah, this is better. The sound system not good, but yeah, I don't know where. Peace. Gentlemen, let fix let's try to fix that sound. Particularly those watching, right? It is particularly with those watching here complaining about sound. Okay, so let's make sure that we fix this sound. So basically, that's going to come out of our conversation. These are going to be the issues we will look at, right? The level of security and of course the call for decentralizing our food system and through the House of Representatives as a king or may concord with the Senate, right? To grant autonomy to the Code of Ghana. So what that means, okay, are we even ready for that? What are the broader implications? Why are people trying to take power that on merit basis? Somebody who is seen as the person in charge and all that, right? So it's important. Political correctness must not overshadow prudence in the running of the state on political correctness because Youngly wants to be seen as powerful and of course his secret duplicate is not leading to Youngly's and Dylan's wings and caprice and of course they have to decimate the power he will command and of course in the third so they have to opt for autonomy in their mind, giving Basel an opportunity to preside over its own food system and all that. But beyond that, how does that add up when it comes to the reduction of um, unitary governance? Because you have systems of governance, you have unitary or federal, right? And they all come with their own advantages and disadvantages. So you have to be careful when you're running a unitary government so that you don't adapt to system that is mimicking of a federal regime. So how can we be a centralized authority? But then we are decimating and depleting that authority. We're breaking it down in a way that reflects a federal system. But the people who are the leaders, who are educated in law, that's supposed to be having all of those, the people are moved, swayed by emotions in Nigeria, somebody else, mostly moved by emotions. Yeah, so, I send people need to the men to get a job, the men are giving a job, so, and President Putin will put on it, so, Cappy, you gotta do this, something you have to get, let's put it on it. If I will put it from the Senate, we get autonomy for Kemba, for Basapu. So it goes there. So somebody is telling me, somebody's trying to, we gotta make it make sense to me that when the Port of Ghana has autonomy, independence, the next time we're gonna hear the Port of Papua wants autonomy, Greenville wants autonomy. right? Because the pastor start to brag about revenue and all of that, and people of Maryland as a whole, why not? They have their own economy, right? So the next thing you see, like my friend was telling me, LEC, the electricity people too, start saying, okay, Maryland say we won't do our own electricity bill, we raise our money, we send something to government revenue, but to get one LEC boss sitting in Moro until everything go, we want it like that. So we drop a bill, carry to the legislature, one senator then say we want Maryland, Maryland Energy, Maryland Energy Corporation, we want autonomy, right? The water people, yeah, say only water and sewer can go out and just passing around, lying. So we tired with that one. So we think we can design a scheme to our own water thing. We make money for ourselves instead of get some city to Monrovia. Are you getting? So if that's how we want to run the country, then that's fine. Then go ahead. NTA, somebody say, oh, NTA here, taking the taxpayer money, you're buying the buses, or the buses only running in Montserrat, then you're calling National Transit Authority. So we want the Green Bay Transit Authority. We want the Green Bay Transit Authority. We want we getting the direct benefit of National Transit Authority. So we want Green Bay Transit Authority. So I wouldn't understand where we're trying to do here. Or we just get overwhelmed, so clueless, so limited, so about politics, and power play and all of that. But this is what you get. You take an old, weak, good for nothing man being president of the country where he has no charge. He's not even in charge. Everybody just doing their own thing. It's a complete Humpty Dumpty theater of what? Complete childish. This is exactly. So I didn't even think they were leader, but I didn't really think how do they spend their night time? How do they spend their leisure time? What do they spend their leisure time doing? Are they being comparative? And I sit on there and I'm seeing senators that we all of them passing because you know what? The thing about that place is when you support my own ability, they don't want to think now we support it. So at the end of the day, it's not basically about the general good of the country, right? The fact that it emanates from Aru, and of course Hagar will have to support because Hagar fails to support mine. Any day Hagar comes with his, of course I'm gonna oppose it, and it's gonna be a problem. So this is it. But whether these things are scrutinized and of course evaluated primarily on the basis of its direct benefit on the life of the people generally, and whether it's in keeping with the SOP of governance, the standard operating procedure of our national governance, our architecture, people really care less. In fact, how many people really in that place understand that before you do this, you have to do this, you have to do that? Not many of them. The way you vote for the people, look at the way you vote for them, look at the caliber of people you have there. We're only respecting some of them because they know the office. But technically, look at Mary Park. Father look like somebody. Father who opens his mouth, he only speaks to him. Right? That's been making your way through, passing around. But because we're so sentimental in the town, oh, because the men are kissing you, everybody goes, oh, because the men in the church, everybody goes, oh, yeah, our church member. This is the reason why this country don't know what. Until you start to identify quality and forget about mediocrity, forget about sentiment. I know it's going to be difficult because you know what? Central, at the highest level in the country, people are building consensus on the basis of tribalism, regionalism, sectionalism. So, adequate, logical reasoning are no more the order of the day in Nigeria anymore. Meritocracy, no, these are conversations of the past. Into this idea, you have to be a local man. You have to get to local solidarity. It makes sense. It's about the solidarity you find yourself in that determines what you get, how you see the value that gets attached to it. People who all along respected you, for them all kinds of people you see them falling prey to the trouble card in the republic. It speaks slowly about the reasoning capacity and all of that. These are problems. These are generational problems. The effect of these very disastrous decision making by irresponsible and of course incompetent leaders that we have. They're very incompetent. I mean, idiotic and incompetent. That's exactly what they are. And it is a serious problem for Nigeria. It is a serious problem for the country. And whether you accept it or not, and that's what some of us need to do. Talk. We want to talk. Because we don't want to be afraid. We don't want to be, you know, uh, 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 we don't want to be, anybody who believes where you have to suppress what we see, where we see it, we have the freedom, we have the leverage. That's what we're journalists. But care less about how Yummy feels, because at the end of the day, if Yummy takes terrible decision, I sit in the seat for it and be able to look out and say, look, Yummy, to hell with that decision because it was a stupid decision. In fact, it's not going to benefit the country. Because you know what? Nothing is done in Yummy. You don't have to be happy before So when you live a life where somebody, you got to bring somebody got to be happy. This is nonsense. But yes, I hope our sound here, I'm just trying to run around and see how we get the sound. But anyway, folks, today is Wednesday and we're paying $20,000 for a lucky winner. $20,000 since I started start 11 So this morning, basically, we'll talk about the other issue. Well, between now to July 17th, the protest day, we want to continuously assess the well-being and welfare of the Nigerian populace, our listeners, everybody across the country. So give time, open the phone lines to call. I like to call it good morning Nigeria, right? It's a good morning Nigeria. You wake up in the morning, you want to know what's up with the president, or how are you giving it, get on your lifestyle, all of that. So good morning Nigeria is basically to speak to you, to tell us how is life for you, whether it's security in your community, safety, right? Whether it's food, the market, life generally, how is it for you? So when we begin the morning with understanding how our people are, it helps generally in setting the tone for how policymakers, national decision makers, national leaders are able to craft the daily agenda as they pursue. Because they are, of course, they obviously will have to listen to the media. So me screaming the public view on what they are. There are people who went to bed with healthcare. How is it? The cost of healthcare in the country. How bearable it is or unbearable it has become. For example, if you have slight care, you go to the pharmacy. How much does it cost to get your septum, paracetamol, or whatever? So basically, try to understand this one. The 24, begin the show with that one, and then we move to other issues. That's where we are. These are the real issues. How is flood situation? Tell us. The president is listening. The government is all ears. The partners, the Americans, the Europeans, they're all listening. Explain yourself. Sometimes beyond the politics. 2020 now we talk who party will win, who party will not win. But today, how you surviving matters. How are you living? Let's start scheming. Sometimes we allow the politics to overwhelm, and then because of the politics, people actual things are not coming out, and people are saying that because some people get stupid. They put up for they begin to drink simple water and things, and so and they feel like they go, when we take the politics from there, people can, my son, I will yell. Actually, they feel when you market in that so they feel that me, married before my husband passed away, and life has become very difficult to find somebody else to help me in that anywhere I pass. So let's know this truth. Let's bring them on. This is the station for the people. The creator. And of course, view the opportunity for every voice to be heard. For us, that is victory. For us, that is a war. So we'll begin that today. I think Monday we started small. But let's see, just wherever you are, whether you're thinking rather your motorcyclist, what I've liked to do for you, tested care. You're doing tested care, you've been doing it maybe for 10 years, 5 years. How is it today in the news? How is it today in like what does it feel like to be effective driver? To be a commercial driver across the country, whether you're running your taxi or your commercial car from Monrovia, from red light to Greenville, from red light to just wherever, basically. 0776 on the 4 086 500 104 plus 221 500 are the numbers to call. And of course, you will be live this morning. Let's hear from you all. Speak your mind and tell us how's life, how's condition, how's things, how's everything, right? We talked about politics, we talked about the MHA. Well, let's know what is happening here. Business, how has business become for you? How are you even managing your business? How are you sustaining your life? You have a small, say, wait a minute. How is it? How is it, right? Let's see. Let's take you. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
You're calling from Omega Market?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear you.
Yes. I'm letting the thing I already spoke. When I'm yesterday, because we are working to work 2 years now, and no teaching. And it's doing career now. Some of us, we are concerning people we want to do our name or so that they will pay us. But right now, for you to either the contract and run as a ticket right now in my bedroom, we went for the money to kind of promise.
Okay, so you're daily hustle man, daily hustle contractor, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So to even get contract now you have.
Yeah, the contract. And either you do the big contract for the money to kind of it has money. So currently for those there to forever up to him in our water on the TZK.
Okay, thank you very much. That's another person. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sherry.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sherry. How you doing?
I'm fine. Let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, my brother. I'm speaking to you right now. I'm Edward. I'm calling from Johnsonville. Sorry, I'm in looking after. The thing I've been doing, what is it for? The whole community has been flooding. As I'm speaking right now, and I spoke with them around us right now. And I've been asking other people to help us. I need to see how we can continue to work on them, but there's no way. All the people that I've been asking, anybody can go to the whole thing. That's what we can make up. Even the
Life in Labrador today is very difficult.
That's very difficult. Everywhere I go, I don't go to do any hustle. Don't wait now to do any hustle. Anywhere you go now, anybody's out of contact, no money, yo. So when the country going out, we don't want to say anything. So everything that becomes hard.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, these are like reviews, but anyway, let me just bring Hagar, good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Abu. Good morning. Yeah. Let me say good morning to Liberians following us this morning. It's good to be back here on this wet midweek morning here in Manila. It's good to be back to continue from where we started.
You know, Hagar, we out there because we are the voices of the people. We get engaged. We go to supermarkets and I see old people that we pass anywhere and people are talking to people and relating to me the problem. But just share some of the story just from morning to now. I mean, the heart touching. So I thought it was important that we give an opportunity for Librarian to speak because apparently the government is not being sensitive to understand what is actually going on. We keep talking so they see like Abu and Hagar is talking.
Yeah.
And so allowing time for Liberians themselves to speak, right? I think it's basically because our job is for them. right?
These are the people we represent.
Let us speak out. I just need some of the things I want you to put it on some minor singers from the hopefully they did a song for Kuma Nigeria to bring up their own voice and I think so that's exactly what we're doing. So let's take roll call. Good morning. Good morning.
I'm George number one. Great. Yes, a lot of issues, but not just talk about the job issue in this country.
Okay, job issue.
Yeah,
That is your concern.
In the living aspect. You see, some of us were as a refugee, we live better life in refugee camps. So we came to our own home, our brothers, have been here 3 good years, struggling. The trade will learn, we tell you, when people not know you, they will not call you. They will call you, you do estimate, they will take the estimate and give it to someone else. What kind of life are we living? From my opinion, we need to change the 2 political parties and try somebody else. The Unity Party and the CDC Party. Change that set of people.
So you rather believe that party is the problem?
I'm sure that the party is the problem. And the individual in the party, they have a lot of problems. So we need to change the 2 groups of people.
So when we change the party now, how will change the people? All the people that all the human beings that will move them?
No, I'm not saying we must the human beings. For the Georgia, the workers, they are not doing anything for this country. We need to put someone there different, and they don't see it different. Then you will know what the president, they will bring different person in the state, so the day means that problem will not be settled.
Okay, all right. So that's the view. Respected. Good morning.
Good morning, Ega.
Good morning. How does it feel living for you in Liberia today? Good, bad, or
yeah, good morning, Ega. I'm Mohammed. Come on,
Go ahead from some of that time, brother.
Yeah, my brother, I can get them with.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, my dear brother?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
My name is Fighting Mountain. I'm calling from the old room. So let me actually share this. One of the things that is getting this country difficult because of our leaders will always put it into office.
No, I mean, we are not basically asking why do you think things are difficult. We want to know what things are difficult. How's life for you, first of all, right? Maybe you're getting a job, probably you're employed, but what are your salaries coming on time? You're in the private sector, you're in the public sector. How is it?
It's actually not working well in this country. It's actually difficult when you compare it to yesterday. Yesterday, the guys in office were filling them around, but this time around, you don't even find the change before you will find the money. So there are a lot of difficult things going around here, and things that our government needs to make it better. That's why we voted them into office. What we expected from them when it comes to the well-being of the common people is actually not going well. They are not thinking well. For example, you saw what will happen if you deal with the certain ID card. That was a serious punishment to the common people. That was a serious punishment to the common people, and I thank God they are changing. When you go to the market, everything is just difficult, everything is just where you will be. So we think one of the things we think we need to do, what we lack of, we actually lack of love in this country.
Okay. Thank you very much. Another person. Good morning.
Good morning, Abu.
Good morning.
Morning. My children for you from my side. Take a little bit. We know you say, hey, my child, we used to buy that soda. Paco after you want $100 now, now $150. It's more, we used to buy $50 now, now $100. The school also we used to buy $700, now that $850. So this other one hundred from the Ibawa Furon, and that's the now better. You know, you say.
No way, sir, the boy had died.
No way.
So when they had died, president give me all our time. So you can just say that every any water lettering. Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, this foreign government, our businessmen were to be frank. The whole foreign government, I used to go to my business when I go to my business, imagine. Sometimes when I come home, I'll come home for $7,000. But this time around, sometimes I can make you hey, not like you put up getting money, but when you charge it too, then they put up the room when you charge it $12, they want you to get that.
That means they get the money.
Everybody wants, they want to know how to spend the money. Because now, if you spend, you should go in the goal as a procedure. So that's the issue. So you want government and then plan government. What the matter presentation for car?
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Morning, Abu. This is Abu calling from Mama Boy.
Go ahead.
Yeah, things are very difficult. For 3 days now, every now and then my children are carrying a sugar carry before we see. Never happened to me before. Never happened. Never happened. Oh. They break my landlord place. They make them 2 pages. I'm renting one. They break the next thing. So they say you want to pay. I need money now to get place. I can't get it. I just stand there up and down. You see that? Things that work out the government doing. They say the thing is the development. Development is to be breaking people out to put their homeless. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Shall we continue this? I'll put your call coming in the country now. Good morning.
Good morning, Abu Sherry. I want to say good morning to brother. You got good at everything.
Good morning.
That's Emmanuel to the Kekebo.
Go ahead.
That we want to come for the rescue. I am working. Because my brother is here telling you, I'll get out of passing you there. When you get it, no fail, but when you get out to pay the money that not begin your out of Henry, so kind of way, so for the traffic.
So even to pay your fare now than not.
He said I not. When you go to the get me on more, so we're doing it because I'm not that way, the whole market business. For my family, we are full. So then when I get leave, I give my children. This every boy knows you go money and put something together for her, but this time I get that again, say my children. You imagine. So, easy. We have to just say that inside, brother. Thank you for the call. Then
okay, thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Abu. How are you? Good morning to me.
Good morning.
Yeah, Abu, our condition now is not what the CDC. Let's talk
let's forget about the party.
Let's talk about the CDC. During the early time, even from those times, during the early time, the economy was moving for all 1 year, right? That was also Obama place in those quarters, right? Place in Calabar, appearing. They not keep the same thing. When we are here, I want to pay my place in New Jersey for Charlie Cape Town. Today, the living condition for us is very bad. It's not easy. No job. It's not good. When after you I need to be able to go after I need to go. I need to be able to get back or go. In 2 weeks, I will do the same after go. And then they will go one more.
I mean, people not cooking in the community.
I'm telling you, for let me go for the Gambia now. So I will go myself to get 40 jobs taking soon. And that they can tell us this to the when the 40 jobs now in the country. You know what here? I'm going to 40 jobs now. You buy this. Why is it doing it? Nothing. Nothing. When you say you're bad, the money will have before you get, I can manage it. You buy the teacher, they buy the put it inside. Don't you give free job there for free? Just think the food. It's not easy. We talk to the boss now. You're joking. They're not saying that. Now, it's not easy. We're feeling it. That teacher said, I'm getting politics. Yeah, we're talking. Thank you, my son.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take few more. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Walk away from your radio, chief. We won't cut you off now. We like you.
Good morning.
You want to replace that person.
Good morning.
Please go to your cross street. All this thing that person. I'm going to take that your camera.
So because of that, you can tell why the whole country looking at it. Tell us your name first, then we can decide from there.
Yeah, but they won't know who we're talking to now. You know, they have to say my name, don't Peter or the Baka name for
My name is Emmanuel Napo.
Man, Napo, why do you think schools are closing and shops are closing? Because it's really
My brother, you don't need rocket science. You pay rent annually. 18,000, 15,000, 19,000. You pay your input, you get it sweat 1,000 now. What do you expect? My brother, take your camera there. You better the whole world. You say, Great Brandon Street. You say, Great Brandon Street. Go there. Open your signal. You'll see for rent. Who wants to get? Who wants to get? Nobody is going to say, stop. So how would you with 11 people? When I want to come and 11 and start going down, he might die. I mean, who did you get that time, Rusty? Can we go to us? You'll be from crying, you'll see
how's the guys that can do the value boards and I can go around the street? I don't know if they can buy from there.
The last time we heard them complaining.
Okay, I know that.
Hello, good morning. We need to check on everybody now and know what's up, man. Because this is tough. Good morning.
Good morning, Abu. Let me say good morning to hey guys.
Morning, Edmond.
Abu, when we're saying it, people will say, oh, but this is the man that put the program into the fire. What you will say. But Abu, I don't know how it will get life for this country. Yesterday, day before yesterday, somebody that is working in the president's office. This is a man that has taken action with ministers, not let's say 10, 15 different ministries because of they can't do it because of the description. That man visited me, sitting with me, he went on in, we hungry. I'm telling you real life story.
So how you go for the man Paris today outside Canton and one?
No, but I'm not calling him me because there are people that are very poor.
But this and we have a message. Where the next question after
yesterday, I went to town. I when I came from Insta, I just gave and went to sleep. Because it was so out of pressure and still disappointed. People that you can go around, you can compare, no. Don't lay up something up with the other and pass something to eat and lecture. But when you go now, they are telling you, saying, we are the blind people now. Because we baking it not easy for us. Things this one are not happening.
All right, Edmund. Thanks a lot. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Betty Funny.
My Betty, how are you this morning?
Yeah, we have our right family.
Yeah, we are.
We're not easy, my son. You won't be trying to go pray now. You go with the faith that we don't have what we do now. We're not easy. What is the water to get far outside? That's one thing. They do that fine.
So the trainer, why you so share? Someone's one thing we use, not coming again.
They say, we're not getting that. I had to go back to Oma. Then I said to the husband, you're not easy. They get pressed on my other wall. Are you a soft person getting to your house? You think it is somebody. They're not easy. Don't even go home. We pray. We pray all our needs. So we pray for you. One day. God will answer for you. Thank you, Ola.
Okay, let me take the last question and then we'll listen. Good morning.
Good morning, Abu.
Good morning.
I'm taking a quick call from school.
Go ahead, please.
Abu, it's what I'm going to mention for the poor. You see what's about. You go to your house. When you go to stress, don't buy Abu. Say that, and it's don't free. Don't buy it.
But the fact is, yes, they say, oh, you want to now. You know, you say, yeah, very serious about those that sitting around me. Who are things they say, that is, they need a feeling. The post to ask them how they feel the people. There's no shame, no shame. Everything has different story. Everything is different story.
Yeah, that's the
So story. Story. Africa story. Everything is different story. So we can also run the things there.
Thank you very much. I know there are a lot of people that want to take in all the phones are still ringing. People different levels, and some may not, call or things that people like. For example, like one of the callers said, you are renting $90,000 and then you're counting customers or you're counting, buyers. In fact, you have more people that come and get asked to do window shopping. You have more people window shopping. So there's we just seen the thing that we like. I'm going to call it prayer. I found out in 5 years. Yeah, I'm going to put it one year. Purchasing power. The president has become a problem in the country under your watch. This country is going down. Liberians are complaining they're hungry. President, no job. You have to go with us. Save us all that your political chicanery. Get to work, Mr. President. Time is fast running. Time is fast running. And this is serious. I'm telling you something very serious. Forget about the political, wrestling that you CDC or ANC will have to have. It makes no sense. It translates to zero in the life of the people who are complaining and crying every day that one kissing man decides to support the kissing man. This is nonsense. That's stupidity. It makes no sense. These are all the people that have continuously stolen from this country, and it's no big news. What is news if businesses start to say that, oh yes, things are getting better, I'm receiving more buyers today than they used to be before? How? Tell me the business person now that even doing employment.
So Abu, that's where I tend to disagree with one of our callers that said we should at this point deal with the unitary party and of course the CDC. That could be another argument, another debate, which at a certain point I thought to bar in firstly. But in this sitting, Abu, I just consider our country political landscape as just recycled individuals. Now, let's look at the case of the Unity Party. The Unity Party under Madam Salih had bulk of these people who are currently in this Unity Party system. These are the people who spoiled the system. Now came the CDC. The CDC brought on, because of Ria's desire to unify the country, he brought on both some of these very people who were within the Unity Party, previous governor under Madam Salih, that damaged the fabric of our country. He brought them on to work. Now this Waka brought the very same people on board. Now, even if we can make Cummins president, Tiawan Gongo president, Tiawan will still have to work. Cummins will still have to work with these very same people. In as much as we will accept that not all of them will be in strategic positions, but they will be somewhere. And these are the people. What is suffering our country is, how you made it. So the system is set up. Abu and Higa have come to try to transform things from what it has been to what it should be. Somebody will tell you, see, how you made it, you can change the system. And in fact, if you want to push further than that, these very people start to undermine your survivability. They start to even look for a way. If you're not careful, they'll be looking for a way to eliminate you because they feel like you want to put their secrets on. Let's see what happened to then Speaker Kufa. This entire thing came up because the legislature, we have always called for auditing of the legislature. Now, Kufa came in, thought to carry out the audit of the legislature, called for the audit of the legislature. Now a gang gather against it because these people, many of them who are in power today, are people who pass through that very system. the Thomas Fala today, the vice president today, the Emmanuel Nukwe, the how you call him, the Ellis Tyler, the Prince Moi. These people passed through that very place, and they are to where they are today. So their hands could be found in a cookies jar. So as a result of that, these are the people who are blocking or the audit of that. So because of that, you see people fighting, going against people for no other reason. So even if we can bring me, I told somebody, I said, no way the country can easily transform this. When 4 years, spray the entire all of all are here, yes, spray us like when new grass ready to grow. But the fight is people feel like people did it before and nothing happened. Let's look at it. The party now is giving justification because CDC people or Gloria Musu Scott in jail, CDC put these people in jail. So they are giving justification for the illegal things they are doing today. So if you say it was illegal before and you came to transform, why can't you do it the legal way? But we're doing it the illegal way, and somebody too will come after us and we want to do it the illegal way to pay debt. So we just continue to pay debt in our country, and how we just continue to pay debt until Jesus first come back. So the changing of politics of political parties, Liberia and Liberians, we just need to change our mindset. We Liberians, we just need to change our mindset on how we see things. We can even bring George Weah back. Even the Unity Party, if they came with that mindset of transforming, by now they have gone far. But because they came with the mind that these people were there, they were enjoying. You could hear from people. The reason some people voted against CDC is because Abu is living in a community. God has given him the grace to have some cash to be able to purchase the one old car that he's able to maintain. People see it, they feel jealous, they feel that George Weah giving money, like because George Weah is president. So because of the hate they got for Abu, they transferred that hate to George Weah, voted against George Weah, thinking that when they voted against him, Abu will start to suffer. This is how we are to where we are today. So the people who made decisions, they never had any genuine reason to make this decision, but they made the decision because of hate. I listened to a girl who stood in my face and said, I will vote against George Weah because my friend who she and I were close friends. Her boyfriend were appointed in the government, in the George Weah administration. And then George Weah gave her boyfriend work. He bought by his girlfriend car. And now the girl now don't see herself like, yeah. So as a result of that, she will vote against George Weah, so her friend can come back to her level. This is how we are to where we are today. These are things that are happening. So we did not even look to see whether the people we were bringing on board were the right kind of people to transform our country. No, we brought them on board because of it. That's why you see today the Unity Party is always on this George Weah. All their propagandas they got out there, they can talk about other presidents. They can't speak negative about them. They can't speak disrespectful about them. But whenever it comes to George Weah, they always go after him because they feel Liberians, because of the way you voted, it proves to them that you don't want to hear the name George Weah. You feel that George Weah is the cause of Liberia's problem. George Weah is the cause that since Liberia was founded 170 years ago, I think 177 years ago, that because of George Weah, the country is like this. So once they call George Weah name, hey, I hate reawakening. And then you start to do things the way you're supposed to do it, or you start to do things against the George Weah way. This is where we are today. That's why you listen to one of the callers from yesterday admitting that they lied on people because they wanted to get them off. These people, they can sit with us behind the scene. They can admit hurricanes of the Unity Party currently, who are even working within the government, can tell us, I know we thought things were going to be this way, but let's be frank, we are trying his best. They knew all of these things, but because they wanted to be there, we are here today. And you, the common people now, you're listening to the lies, you're listening to what they said, and you say, we agree. Today, you voted, this is where we are. Let's be frank now, Unity Party, whether you're Unity Party person, the ANC, whatever political party, the CDC, whatever political party you're from, let's look at the living conditions of Liberians. Let's take away those who are currently connected or associated to the power that be. You that voted, you that left your home and voted against George Weah with the mindset that your life, your living condition was going to improve. The price of basic commodities on the Liberian market were going to will drastically decline. The price of rice, the price of chicken feed, the fish cartoon, the turkey wing, everything we're going to reduce on the market. Let's compare gasoline, US rate. Let's compare now Weah's administration and now the unity party. What has changed? If things have changed, has this changed for the better or for the good, the worse? Where are we?
That's correct. And yesterday, I followed some young people in the mountain. They were complaining and making some very pertinent comparative analysis. And they were all supporters of the rescue agenda. And they have the reasons and expectations and hopes. And they were moved and motivated. So in their minds, things are worsening, things are bad, and of course, the president has not, in a nutshell, lived up to his promises. And so, listening to the cross section of views on the course that we just did, right, tells you that indeed the shape of the candidates in the country is unarguably bad. Irrespective of the party you're from, irrespective of the party agenda you're pushing, the conversation has gone beyond the capital project. We'll have to be talking about who's initiating, working on capital capital project, who's executing this one. No, it's going beyond that. Right now, the conversation is about survivability, the means and power to purchase. They buy power. There's something economically called buy power, right? The amount of money you have, right? How much you can buy with the money you have. How much you can buy for your money is important, right? So the amount of money that a person or group has available to spend accounts for their buying power. For example, you go to the market, you go with $1,000. That is your buying power. You have $1,000 available. Then your purchasing power barrier comes in. That $1,000 that you have, during your time, the power of that 1,000, the number of items that 1,000 used to give you compared to what it can give you now. When prices drop, it will be able to give you more. But when prices go up, it will give you less. So the reason why $1,000 in the market real time used to give you more, will give you chicken, will give you fish, will give you case, will give you that. And $1,000 worker time is not giving you that today. And your wife is asking you to top up, it's because the purchasing power parity. Prices have increased worker time. That one has simple logic. You don't need empty-headed Buffon in Danielson or PR to sit down, open a book, and talk down on other people and say the den of tea. That does not answer the question. We refer to it as den of tea. We did not answer the fundamental questions about why things are difficult when you have a rest book. The people bought into your propaganda and the voter against we are because you call it den of tea. When you're there, right? You're there. The president just over the night suspended the Kissy guy from MCSS. That's what we have to go and read the money we are talking about. Oh, is that a den of tea as well? They give you money to buy chair for students, our students to go sit on armchair. The student for laboratory equipment for the students to learn practically and do their laboratory exercises. You still, because you kissing me, all of that kissing government. Then come to speak to why people are finding it difficult, right, to purchase. Purchasing power capacity have dropped. First of all, how much the man get in your hand versus what he needs to spend. It's basically the fundamental problem that we have in the country. This civil servant works for $150, so to speak, or let's say $100 he works for. But the purchasing power parity, challenges his ability to get the needs and wants within that $100. government has not increased. The government is not taking decision in keeping with the current day reality. Somebody worked for you 2 years ago, they were taking $100. But in that $100, when they go, they're able to pay the rent, they're able to go to do the transportation, everything, blah blah blah, pay the school fees. But 2 years later, the cost of these things have increased, and you're still paying the man $100. So you expect that man to say, "Oh, because Waka is president, that's all right for me." No, he's lying. He's misrepresenting the fact, because the fact is that the $100 you still giving that man, or the $150 you're giving that man, that $150 is not able to cook dollar worth for the man. The same way $100 do, we are trying to cook dollar worth for him. So now he's refused to give women in dollars. This is why people are complaining. But you go ahead as a government, when you're responding to these things, you make it seem like, oh, that's easy. No, but it's a fact. You open the phone lines all across. You're complaining. Just tell the people, you don't forget about the politics. Everybody get your side. You can meet UP, you can meet CC, you can meet ANC. Everybody stay on your side. Nobody think you must move to the other side, or you must speak down. Or tell us how life for you. How are you making it? Tell me. How much are you spending to eat on a daily basis? And you multiply that by 1 week, and you know how much an average Liberian family will have to spend to survive today. How much an average Liberian person needs to survive. Transportation, all of that. You go to your hustle area. Let's say you're a pump attendant, for example, on a gas station pump, right? The very first, you're basically standing there. Somebody's got to come and give gravity tape, and you sell and stuff, but no tape coming, right? The man is managing his gas coupons. Gas coupons are not coming like they used to do before. It's tough for you, but you're still there. You're depending. Oh, yeah, Waka will cut up. No. But let's forget about that. Keep with your Waka. But tell us, sincerely and honestly, how is life? How is coping in like right now? Many young people are developing the desire to live like this.
That's why you see they are being arrested all along the borders of other countries because they want to illegally leave from Liberia. They want to leave from Liberia, they get a hand, so they find all means possible to leave. So when they catch him in any part of the world, they ill treat them. Liberians, people are fighting every day to leave this country. Like Abu was saying,
the number of young people, the number of young people in our communities that do not have jobs, they graduating, but people just photo them in universities like you and all the other clubs are nice students there, right? You see the graduating this, the graduating in Tibet. So even in the Tibet schools we have, what's been taught? You listen to the guy. The guy say, I'm a daily hustle man. I find when the community put in the construction and go out to daily hustle, I don't know, 150, so on, do it to 3-4 euros, and then at the end of the day, I just sell them there. But it's not even coming. It's not even there. People pause the construction work. Where's the money coming from? People are putting the money for food. Now it's becoming normal. People, old people, right? You can't get it because even if you go to get the money from people who owe you, it's not there. You have to see the capacity. You have to see things are not working. This is exactly what the reality is in the country, and that's what we have to keep talking about right now. We have to forget about this other person said this one, the other person said it. But first of all, how are we even living in the country? How are we even surviving? Young people, if they do not have jobs, they become adults. Today, if they are building your house, you get your unfinished building, you now put all your wires inside, but you still like put your hand, you forget it. They will bust the ceiling, they will enter, they will take all the wire off, they will take all the things and keep it there. So right now, you build your house, you now pull your, you don't take time there, will start taking your zinc, you have to turn the zinc for all day.
maybe the only reason we don't do this thing is because we made no.
So, but anything that's valuable, they will take it. You go, you install your commode, they will go, they rule it or they carry it. Tell me it's not happening.
The country has become insecure. Look at what we were talking about this morning. What happened in Marshall.
So
This lady, we are told she came from Canada to dedicate her new home, and she came from what I was told. She got a tap, beaten, chopped, and placed in a mattress.
Look at the wickedness.
So
Look at the point of it. Look, you have to
This
be
is
careful.
it.
Now, brother, these don't play PFO now. Right? Imagine Liberia. Listen, imagine Liberia under Waka. When Waka lied that people were dying in the street, imagine we never heard this. Somebody build their home, work themselves in Canada, work. You know how the people can suffer in the people country? Send their money, build their home, say, oh, let me go rest in my country. For nowhere, somebody go all that time. You have the person, do whatever they can do, start them in the market, put fire on them and burn. What this is happening in your country while you're pregnant. Where is the security? You have reduced our Liberia National Police. The Liberia National Police are supposed to be public security. They're supposed to provide public security for everybody. But our police today have reduced to private security, providing private security services for the well-to-do in the society. I drove on Randall Street yesterday. If you want some kind of wholesale commerce, typical, where it's cool. And I'm seeing a bunch of police officers standing there providing security guard with the flag. And then he has state weapons, the man is providing. That man will be standing to that place, a citizen will be crying for help. That man will
now what they assign?
the national police. Ministers, assistant ministers, directors, all of them get
That
police
assigned
with security assigned to them. So if we who are not, our homes, our communities are left vulnerable. We are vulnerable on our own.
So the terrible thing about the nighttime is, Abu, once it is after 6, 7, you find the police pickups full all around with police officers, armed putting police officers where they are going, the various banks, the various business centers across the country. They've taken them, they've assigned them to Asila Meta in Yekepa. They've taken them, they've assigned them to King George, how they call it, Beer Mountain in King George.
Is that they can be doing deployment.
Yeah,
What we used to see the private
so
security
even
force.
AFL personnel are assigned to the King George. They are in King George, mine Beer Mountain property. They are in Yekepa. They are at all those construction areas. But the communities are left vulnerable.
Very vulnerable.
So all the banks, go to all the banks in the night, you will see police pickups dropping people two with arms to man these places.
Then they
So
leave you in your
so they
community.
leave the communities
When those
vulnerable.
banks are supposed to hire
Private security. But what the
But
government
our
can do
police
is the
provide
government,
private security
the police can go collect the money, and then as part of that, they assign the people there. It is not part of the police officers or monthly salary.
Every evening this time around 5, 6, you see police going to pick up. They're
Yeah,
dropping them to
dropping them
different
one
assignment
to
places.
business centers, to
Lebanese people
banks.
homes. To Lebanese people homes. Because the society is unsafe. Unemployment has increased. Listen to what I just received. Right? A young lady who was whatever on a taxi yesterday. This is the reading. I'm just a student. I buy and sell clothes in the street, struggling to further my studies. Coming back from town where I went to buy as usual, I took a taxi. 4 people were already inside. When we got to a lonely area, they asked me to empty my account and gave them my phone, including my goods and all the money that I had. When I refused while struggling with them, I was pushed out while the vehicle was on speed. One of them was even boasting how he has been in police custody more than 10 times and that I shouldn't waste my time going to the police and that even if I do, they will know and still come back for me. I thank God I'm still alive. I won't go to the police, but I am sure my God will surely judge all of you. My name is Esther Foley. Esther Foley. The name sounds like she's from Lofa.
And Abu, just to that, the insecurity. This is another video from Buchanan this morning. The lifeless body of an individual discovered in Buchanan. Live. Abidjan TV is going live. So you see where
So
our
this
country
has
is
got
heading.
nothing to do with the party you form, the party you tend to vote for 2029. Let's forget about 2029. Librarians. What is happening in the country now? We have to see the whole 2029 and demand protection, safety from the government. Government has abandoned. Listen, the road users complain about the police. The police gets in the street, and basically what they are up to is to just park keke, park cars, and solicit money from them. Because even the police people, it has gotten tough for them. It's tough everywhere. So they're using power and authority to trample on the vulnerable people to survive. This is survival of the fittest. Right? Because I have power, I got uniform, I stay in the street, I pack you, using my authority, I say, give me $1,000 to give it to me. That's how I'm surviving. But I who do not have the capacity to go to somebody and say, you come here, right? You go to businesses, MCC people.
So even the common business,
commerce ministry people, they go there, they say they're going to inspection. Basically, they're going to extort money from businesses.
even the common business owners, Abu, I been strangulated some way somehow because, like you said, MCC, PCC are all in the communities. They are all in various street corners and harassing these people.
Yes,
So,
I don't know what I
somebody
think about
who
video.
used to sell freely and carry they carry home like 1,000 or 2, 3 a day. These people today, when the PCC vendor or police or whoever, when they lay hand on you, you have to pay what they request. You have to pay what they request. Now, when you get on vehicle going, Abu, this time I decided weekend I can go there to go do 1 or 2 stuff. Abu, it's terrible when you get on car to leave from Maserado. The drivers are feeling it because police will park you, ask you for your driver license. You will take that driver license, display it to them, they will hold that driver license and still demand you to pay money for what? That is how it is. So a trip that you're supposed to leave from here to go maybe like Ghana, you're supposed to spend like an hour or less, or even a little over an hour. You will spend more than that because the police will be parking, and they will park you for no reason. Sometimes when they request for your license, you get a license, they will use that now as a gateway to delay you. And who don't want to be delayed, passengers making noise behind you, you have to take money now and give it just so you can pass. Business people going through the same thing. So as a result, when the people buy their business now, this time to when they want or price these businesses, Abu, you will hear the person will tell you, say, I bought the one for 100, maybe I can make it 120, then the police will want to give me half time, so that means say 130, 140. So in all, the person will tell you, say, business, like something that they're supposed to sell for maybe 120, they will tell you, say 150. They will tell you, come back to 140. That 140, at any time police arrest her, when she takes 10 out, or police arrest him, when you're taking 10 out from there to give it, it's not affecting it. But you, the common people who are going to go buy that, to take care of it. So you, the common man who going buy now, like all suffering. We scratch that now is doing so for 2.
I got different videos. Yesterday there was one case with the MCC police. I think it was on Jerry Street, right?
What the traffic to be taken
On the tow truck. So how they were keeping that man's a family man in your own country. How unprofessional can you ever be? Right? They're looking malnourished that they have to up on the party, put the green t-shirt from on here and put MCC on here. You will not know. Then you're passing around acting like, oh, because that bash on your, the flag on your. Now basically that's what you're doing. This is a police state. Right? And we're talking together back. So people like us now, they're only looking for the slight chance to come after us. We'll pick it, you get some blah blah blah. No, but the country is supposed to be like that. Right? My friend was just telling me about a case. I think Banner Video, your thing not ban and stuff. On the 3 days ago, ban and stuff. So around 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., the morning teachers that can be alone in the area there. So that was telling me that the guys came in the morning, they line up as they will always do. Right? Armed robbers came from nowhere, put them gunpoint, collect all their baskets, all their money, and left it.
Now, even in Kakata, I was told that in Kakata, one renowned money exchanger who was attacked the same way. Armed robbers had to go to his home.
Oh yeah, I think what we used to see, well, you're ready, you have money, teacher, then you put the money. I think we can't stop now because the guys are both. Listen, the young people, plenty, they didn't get job in the community. Just be in your community, you see the number of Banamene passing up and down. Banamene passing up and down. No hustle. The man up working because you live in a boat somewhere. Look at people in Caribbean. What kind of job have you created? What means of hustle people in Mambaki? And you
People in Todi.
In Todi. What have you created as a government? Well, what have you brought to the country that will keep the youth busy? And there is no, listen, the risk is that there is no prospect, there is no hope that in the next 6 months, this government will create 10,000 jobs.
No, so
But
between now to January, forget for it now because we already taken from
right?
They may already see they can work.
So now, don't leave your house vulnerable. You go spend 3-4 hours somewhere.
No.
Don't do it. Forget it. The brothers are hustling.
Can we imagine even in my yard, right? To wash clothes with anybody else. You have to be sitting around that clothes.
It will go.
Because once you got valuable among them, or body clothes among them, the guys will take it. That's why it is. You see people passing the community. Don't forget about yourself. This is how our country has become. Even the many people used to do that many, you can hear about meaning too much.
No, I don't know what I mean. The mini more than going, right?
Let's take it from here.
So yeah, well, that's something. But I don't know. Okay, let's do that. We received this song, and it is a dedicatory song from Mali. It's in Bambara, the local Malian vernacular. It's understandable by sharp ear Mandingo people. Right? God, yes. Keep lying. We have to be sharp ear. The Mandingo has to be excellent to understand.
Now you're kind of Mandingo.
Well, I can try to understand it though. You know.
So maybe the only person that can help me make money in the kids is that woman. But if I'm waiting for So let's listen to this song. Then I'll call it Papi after the show. If Papi will tell me what the song is. Yeah.
Well, it's dedicated to former President Buya. So,
You want to give money?
yeah, Calasco or whoever is the former president now, Pepsi,
Yeah, can help you in that way.
this is a special song, but it's important. Over time, we try to give you that information.
Yeah, and then we'll come back from here. I will give 20,000 to somebody. So
Give you credit. Okay, so that's the kid from the top.
Kamale, George Weah Kamale, Clamari Weah Tache, George Masira. Kamale, George Weah Kamale, Clamari Weah Tache, George Masira. Tape Weah Denke, Ana Weah Denke, George Masira. Teke mone bodinye Liberia mota ba major yuya Mande jalo do be barika jamanda ye Barika bi fala barika bila barika be ba ke Liberia. Jamuwe ya fa tumewe ya fa nona wali sirigari wali Mogolu benko ni mabili nyogona lunye nyogona luteki kwa bada Anawe ya de bali tapede ni soni juguso ikini bolo wansa inuma bolo wansa George we ya de ma Clamari we ya ta sunani farida la Liberia Son Excellence George Weah, oye. Son Excellence George Weah, oye. Oye.
Like you on those artists, let's talk about for you to feel a place to solidify yourself. And based on that you are feeling like or you do nothing, or you even get busy, that somebody can say, yes, I'm going for 2 hours in Ghana. How much person can play a music and go for 4 hours? So when you finish doing the 2 hours, you come back and passing around. Go to God, you can do the play. No. Do it to the point where people are begging you to really come and, you know, from the platform. The reality of life. So no matter how you eschew with the politics and do all partaking, blah blah blah, after all of that, you have to sit struggling. I see some of the people that are trying to, they're jogging between, you know, accepting the reality and also standing with their party. Juggling between accepting that things are difficult for them and faking it. That, oh, now party, but look, there's no being saying that, of course, the CDC time was way more better, whether you accept or not, than what we see. Just flow, availability, found people. First of all, what we used to hear when people were sharing, even somebody else benefit, they own that country. So what has happened to that very country money? What has happened to that very country money? How is the very country money not reaching down to the million? Why is it not reaching down to the million? There's a different approach. Another country money, that country money, our family, so they are talking about this. But look, have to cause chaos. We don't say, oh, today because you made party and worker pay yours, so that means you just give the whole season. No. That's why it's not possible. How you do the whole season? Are you there? Now, why as a guy, there's more than because I don't know how you're going to achieve that. You have to be able to do comparative analysis and look at comparative advantage. What makes CDC advantageous in the Unity Party? Or what makes the Unity Party more advantageous in the CDC? And then you go for that. But you can't put all of them in the seat bag and say, oh, you're looking, you're very disappointed. Okay, let's measure the disappointment and, of course, the service delivery. Unity Party has 12 years. Let's put the disappointment together. They signed over 64 Booker's concession companies in the country. Yeah. Going for Yanti Topa did a deal with one of them along I think Boga Mission. The guy was basically sounding like he only went to take his life. And the very guy admitted I think they told Yanti to put him on the top team there on the field. You can't hide it, you can tell Yanti how to put the field of the but the reality is still there. The man said the country had it back. He said no also. Wakapuin level, yeah, but that the reality, that's a fact. Right? 12 years, you get Unity Party. Right? The masses, what did the masses benefit? What were you trying? You kept trying on capital flight. Taking 11 money from here, carrying the American paying mortgage, the school, and everything. That's what you're trying. You're trying on Booker's concession company that will not benefit the local community people. Right? You're trying on lawmakers taking all of the money to themselves and increasing the salary. With government officials distributing fat benefits. It became nonsense, so you do not understand the little things the CDC was doing differently from the CDC, from the Unity Party. Right? And the Hamad salary, they were not affecting you in the community, they were affecting the very minimum elite that are working in government that are taking fat salary and say, no, this is unfair. Let's break it down. If you think you qualify to make this money that government has, go look for jobs that pay you $7,000 in the private sector. They are unable. So they say now, they manipulate you in the community, and then you turn the bandwagon and antagonize a government that places the people first. That is what you don't do. How I am not working in government, I'm not directly working in government. Then I say I have a problem with a government policy that takes money from the few and distributes it across to all of us. Then I buy into the sentiment of the few that are working in government that say, oh, anytime I used to get 7,000, but the government can cut our salary down, right? They're only giving us $2,000. How is that my business? But when the government cut from the few and spread across to the vast majority, we're able to see those community rules. We're able to see rehab space. We're able to see electricity expanded from 3 counties, right, to 9 counties. We're able to see that among many things. We're able to see military hospitals, the different parts, recreational activity, booms in the economy. We're seeing people with what? They buy power, an increase in buy power. People have money. That is the money available. You have money, but now you don't have money. It's not even there. You won't talk about your purchasing power, right? That means the money you get, what quantity of goods it can get you. Don't talk about that. First of all, do you have money today? No, it's not. Kindness, people were being generous, were helping, poor, comparing notes. How many people are comparing notes to you? You're not even coming. You're not even seeing them in your community. So you can say, let's obliterate the 2 parties and go to a Messiah for something. It's not going to work. Where are even going to get them from? So you have to compare the 2 parties. Is it good better than, I don't know, not better, but rather the lesser of the 2 things. And from a massive plebeian standpoint, the CDC is by far better than the Unity Party. This is a very objective view, not subjective. In spite of the sentiment and all of that. I mean, pretty much tell me, look around you, what is happening, right? The bad people, some of you have your relatives and friends who were connected and friends with people in government, when they also together, something go traffic, right, together, why that person has a capacity, you're not looking at the fact that you are indirectly benefiting from whatever great person is tapping on, but you become envy. So now your government can do that. You're not even helping yourself, you put someone helping you. They see with your brother or CBC or somebody CBC or helping you. You're not even helping yourself, go someone helping your other brother. So this is suffering. This is being, wicked. Mean. We bring United Party, a complete opposite of the original United Party. The original United Party with all of the excesses is way more better than the mess we have on our hands. Criminals with clear intention to steal from the liberation. Clear intention, deliberate intention and desire to steal. And all they're doing is stealing. All they're doing is stealing. Everywhere we talk about stealing, right? And they steal and cover their stealing. When you find that, stealing people won't come. Somebody grab a foreign investor, do them, beat them, and when you talk about it, say, oh, that's stealing people, that's stealing people. No, this is not the case. Right? So, fellow Nigerians, we have to start thinking outside the box, thinking beyond partisan politics, and think about how are you even going to survive between now to the end of the year? Your business, your job sacrifice. Will you even remain on that job? Because if your employer cannot generate, obviously you have to cut down, and you could be affected. So you start thinking about that. Anyway, so let's take few thoughts on it. We'll have our guest here, and of course, talk the heart. We will take few thoughts on the 0776 and I'll play that song. Someone here, we'll start playing that song. Hello, good morning. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Inga. Thank you very much. I'm called from a football corner, down for you, community. Thank you. And I'm going to send this visit to our brother who think so that he can be a drinking soul. At least then you will get to know the importance of President Weah. Please do that for us. Okay. That's the point that to you. That's the issue. I think over the last 6 years, we saw a lot of things happening in our country. We saw people protesting for the city meeting boys. We saw Deputy Lama in the hospitals and the guy of grocery people protesting. But to my utter surprise, the voting was raised and the only Kaka lorries and Nigerians were dying and Filipino were dying. Just forward today, is our sister, our mother who went high in Canada, getting our money came back to develop our country. That is this kind of mysterious.
And they cremate that hard. They kill the woman and wrap the woman in mattress. Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so we can. So let's go to that. And of course, if there's a break from stuff on Nigeria, come back. We take our guest, Colonel A.B. Krumah, here for the conversation which you have held on yesterday with regard to the court case and, of course, subsequent triumph. I've seen one of the Padigas brothers remanded behind the rusty bars of the Monrovia Central Prison this break, and of course, we will be right
One step out here for us, when you step up to your door, why don't you reach out your phone? If you see a you want talking, I mean, check. You wait for your safety. If you see a don't do it, I'm about to go in. Stop, the people bringing safety to your door. Stop the ground and make it peace for them before. Stop on Liberia. second to interior. I said the story for Allah. The people bringing safety to your door. Stopping crime and make it before them before. Let's start on Nigeria. For the second to interior. I said the story for Allah.
Constable Liberia is here for you. Remember, you see it, you report it. This is a message from your own cell phone or SM sign.
To your door. Stop me cry and make it before them before. Stop on Nigeria. For the second to interior. I said the story for Allah. The people bringing safety to your door. Stop me cry and make it before them before. Stop on Nigeria. For the second to interior. I said the stopping ground for Allah.
Constable Liberia, and of course, welcome back to the final lap of the conversation right here on Freedom 87.9. And of course, it's good to be here this morning with Brother Eddie. Good morning.
Thank you very much. First, I'd like to extend the apology to your listener for the frustrating situation yesterday. We're still wrapping up the court issue. We delayed a little bit of preparation for the and so I'd like to extend the apology. It was not intended to leave them hanging. Be that as it may, it is a pleasing pleasure to be here today and so as to fulfill the commitment that we actually set up.
Fair enough, and of course, at least the public know now it was not abroad.
No,
so apologies granted.
Thank you very much.
Well, how are you? It's been
yeah. You know why? Since
also with the court issue, which will come to, but generally,
I think we're fine. I run a consultancy firm and also run a security firm. Policy. I'm not trying to beat up your promotion and stuff, but we've been very busy trying to gain some customers. We've gotten one or two of our contracts but so we replaced some of them. So things have been fine. To be honest with you, I knock on wood, we've been very good. God has been very good to us.
So you're one of the few fortunate people.
Well, I'm just been lucky.
That's what I said. You're one of the few lucky people.
Yeah, well,
in the midst of
everything. Everything, but I have. I thank God, and we try to keep our head clean and most justice because of what we do. Like I said, to be fine. The kids are fine. I'm good. The family's good. Again, I'm one of the lucky one. Maybe when I went to Mecca, the prayer I did in Arafat was a little bit much easier for me.
So okay, so let's come to business now. And of course, this thing about you and the party that brother. Right?
Okay.
It's something that I really want to talk to first of all understand why did you take him to court?
Well, I'm not the aggressive kind of guy when it comes to family issues. So,
okay.
Well, when I was appointed at the LDA, but prior to my appointment, let me give you a little historicity of our relationship. Prior to my appointment, I met the Hussein guy. I didn't know the Hassan guy. I knew the Hussein guy. I met him in Philly, and he spoke very highly of his brother. They kind of like that. They kind of, I call them two-headed monster. I don't know whether it's a good thing or not. But he was a little very complimentary of his brother into this and the rest of it. So I said, well, okay, that's good. But I mean, if I have the opportunity one of these days, since he thought I was in the political limelight, there was possibility of me being a political appointment.
Okay.
When I have it, and they had not been to Liberia much, when they come, they settle in Guinea. So now most of the time when they come from the States, they go to Guinea, then they drive out to Liberia and they hang out with one or two persons, but one of the few persons that they hang out with.
Okay.
So I said, well, look, if I have the opportunity, one of these days we will actually meet and we'll see what we can do as far as the acceptance and the recommendation or whatever you think that
And
we
this
should
was
do.
during the political period.
No, this was prior to the political period. I was in the States.
Okay.
I had gone to the States and so, but long matter short, we click. We started to talk. Every time they hear the farming and things were a little bit like that. So when I had the opportunity of being appointed as head of the LDA,
Okay.
and then I was looking for, I had specific reasons why I didn't want anybody appointing anybody to the position that I occupy.
Was it your purview to look for?
Yes, the president gave me that luxury, that latitude.
Okay.
That look, you find your nature, you find your deputies, so as to help you run this organization. Because this is my signature project. This is something I ran on, and I have the utmost confidence.
Was that a bargain? Was that as a result of a bargaining?
Well, I don't know whether it was a bargain or not, but as far as I'm concerned, I actually opted for a different position, and because and then the president said, "Well, this is
because he didn't give you that, so he gave you the latitude to
he said
usurp his presidential authority."
No, that's not what it was. Well, what it was that he has explicit confidence in my ability to turn things around.
Okay.
And because I've seen him from the time he was vice president, my interaction was different. I was deputy director of police, and my professionalism and my interaction was a little different.
Okay.
So he thought that I could be better than what it is. And so he thought his signature project, what he ran on, things that he wanted to do was that I could come and stir the affairs for him. And I said to him, because I call him Pops, I said, Pops, no problem. I will do what I can do to actually do it. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it because I believe in him. And basically that was where we were. And so, so we were appointed.
Your deputies. How did you?
We were appointed, and then it was time for recommendation of the deputy.
Okay.
Because when I was appointed, my confirmation took probably about the appointment recommendation to the Senate, and my confirmation probably about maybe 2 days.
Oh, really? Was that fast?
Fast. You know, so the guys were waiting for me. The guys were calling me in the Senate. I mean, when is the document coming? So I go to the mansion. There's maybe the president signed the thing going there. So I went there. They said, yeah, man, Momo Sarah, who's the chairman of the, and say, yeah, Momo, guys, stop. We're calling your thing tomorrow. You gotta get ready. You gotta distribute all of my documents, my resume.
Okay.
I gave them out, and that was pick up. So then it was time for my deputies. And I went to the mansion, and I decided to send out the listing. But what I set out to do was to have people for different reasons, because I've been around for a little while. So
you recommended Fadiga?
Yes, So now the reason I recommended Fadiga
was Fadiga aware that you recommended?
Yeah, well, he came to my house. We talked for almost a week.
Or you did it backstage, and then he saw himself appointed?
No. He went to my house several times. We're talking about these things because I have several people on my listing. The guy who's deputy now for operation at the LDA was one of the guys because I work with him in the police force. It's a guy who's a very straightforward guy, very professional guy. I had him there. I had a couple of other police guys that I knew. I had some guys in the States.
And then why did you prefer Fadiga?
Okay,
to all of those people you knew before in the police, you work with.
Yes, well, I had criteria. I had something set up to actually meet people expectation. My expectation was that I was going to a situation where there was drug infested environment, and I needed to have people deal with the counseling section. The guys were dead because I would come on a holistic arrangement. I wanted to deal with the drug trafficking. I wanted to deal with the drug situation in the country. I wanted to deal with counseling. I wanted to deal with the community outreach. I wanted to do all of those things I want. And to do that, I needed somebody who I thought would actually help to do it. Okay. And because his brother and my ex-wife, Fatuma, you know that, so it's not a secret, I'll tell you that. She also came with her own recommendation of this guy because they all were on, they knew the brother, but I don't think much they knew of him. But he presented himself. Then the man Stanton Waters also asked me, so look, these guys, he's a Stanton does not know the difference. He didn't know the difference between federal agent and a federal employee.
Okay.
This guy worked in the prison system, and so they thought he was some. He called himself.
But what was your personal impression about his CV?
My impression
his comparative advantage, actually.
Comparative advantage was that the fact that he had the opportunity, the counseling advantage, where he counseled the female officer in the prison, female people inmate in the prison. I thought he would be a better fit for the job.
So the that female thing you're going to
no, it's not the female aspect of it. The fact that he was counseling, he was doing counseling.
Okay.
He was meeting, talking to people, talking to people. I thought it would be an advantage for us. For when it comes to operation arresting, that's my area. That's something I know best.
That's correct.
So sitting as head of the DEA, I can now express myself from those perspectives. I got somebody who specialized in counseling, who actually go to the ghettos and talk to these guys, so we start to transform people into certain things. Then I went for the administration part. I got calls from most of my friends, came to me and said, look, Bawuko will not have a shot at anything in this person, but he's here. He's a guy that is a no-nonsense guy to a certain extent. He was in the police force, he resigned. Somebody who talked to me about him, as the late Prince Johnson said, you want to bring this guy? This guy is a bad guy. He's bad news. And he said, this man, I wasn't here when the whole Prince Johnson and Bawuko situation happened.
You heard his story.
Yeah, but I heard the story, but I was not going by that. I was going by what
so you saw all of the risks and you took it.
I took the risk and I went for it.
At what point did you realize that this guy was, it was off?
Well, when we started to have conversation about issues, professional issues, administrative issues. And basically, then I started to see signs of deception, signs of this. And so I'm like, these guys are supposed to be helping me here.
But they were professional disagreements.
Well, the professional disagreement will have its own boundary. I'm not saying you can't disagree with me. I brought them, basically, I needed somebody to disagree with me.
Okay.
And because I'm not infallible. I'm a guy who actually will entertain, because when it comes to resume, my academic resume, I compare to any of them.
Mm-hmm.
They can't beat that. I got 3. I come from Seton Hall University. So, and I've had wealth of experience in the field of criminal justice. I'm a lecturer of criminal justice. So I wasn't worried about who I was dealing with. I knew them. I knew their resumes. I knew exactly what they've done.
So in the face of the internal professional disagreements, what was the red line for you?
The red line was when you started to, when
you say you were working with Ocasio?
My son started to challenge my authority publicly. And the first fight was what that crossed the line. That was where the malice came from. When I did a lawsuit, that was basically the central point, because when he had his own misunderstanding of what his responsibilities were as deputy for operation. Okay. He thought the operation department was where the buck stopped. I said, no, it doesn't work that way. There is an act that is not with the DEA.
It's argued that you wanted centralized authority.
Chief, the DEA delineated, the act delineated the responsibility and function of the word organ in the DEA. Spell out, the head of the DEA is there, the deputies are spell out, the system is spell out. What we intended to do.
You try to do everybody's job.
No, for what? I don't have that strength. Yeah, it's not there. So
where did the friction come from?
Well, the friction was because when we started to actually create the environment of lateral, having vertical and horizontal responsibility that would spread out the responsibility and attitude of the DEA, people started to think that we began infringing on their rights as organ. I said, no, this is here. It's spelled out in my responsibility. I tell a guy these things. We basically provide information as to what you should do, what you should not do. But it's spelled out. Why is it true that people also appointed by the president? There is an act there. There's an act that establishes who's responsible. Who's the head nigga in charge here? So they don't like me saying head nigga in charge because it shows me as a superior person. No, I'm not. That's the act. The act tells you what it is. You should have a copy of the act. You know exactly what the responsibility of the DEA director is and what the deputies were. So we tried to explain that. So I brought in a few guys. I brought in Tima Gelate. and I brought in my good friend Vaflo Dolly, just to listen and provide a little bit of tutelage as far as communication and as far as administration were concerned. And
You brought in T-Max to do what?
just to add up to the maturity of what we were doing, because the young guys coming in, a few guys who
You
were-
mean you brought him in the employ of the dealer?
no, he was just a guy who would listen to things that happen as far as communication.
as a mediator.
No, as a communication expert who would provide what we will have to
Communication
communicate.
guidance.
Yeah, so as to communicate our situation out cogently to the folks out there. That's where we were. But then when things start cracking up, when they start to where the commerce, what the
So
short-
technically, T-Max was
the-
a backroom staff.
well, you can call it that way. I don't know what you call backroom staff, but
In the back there.
no, it was
providing-
right there in the front. So, but at the end of the day, Tima wasn't the staff at that level. So he was just a guy who owed me a reference.
Yeah,
to
but he
us
has been
somewhere.
paid for the service.
No, he wasn't paid. That's what it is.
Was it pro bono?
We try to picture things from that perspective, but when I decided to, Mr. Anita taught now, he's deputy for operations, so he goes around with a badge on his chest, going from ghetto to ghetto, taking decisions, and I told him, I said, look, we cannot take decisions at this level. When we want to do these things, we have to do it in consonance with what the established rules were. You cannot do things by yourself because you are the deputy for operations. Deputy for operations, you are deputy for a reason. You do not articulate the views of this organization seriously outside without passing through some channel, which is the head of the agency.
Okay, so Macaulay will come in.
No, but I wanted to.
Then we'll go to the.
I wanted to lay it before it gets
okay,
out.
go for it.
So basically, that's what we were. But when we started to do those kind of checking situations, the company decided to say, look, we're trying to macromanage. I said, no, we're not macromanaging. We're trying to guide the process, because at the end of the day, the bulk staff will be. So you try. So when you go into raid, let me be in the know. You can't go raiding places that and then people come and complain, oh, they took my TV, they took my thing, and then they'll come refer to the person who's the superior respondent. So we explained that to them, and that became a little contentious.
Why do you think it was difficult for them to grab exactly what?
Because apparently I misjudged the resume. I misjudged the capability and the approach towards the job. That
Was there any political power play?
well, probably when they came in, they started to go to Godfathers and stuff, and started to get interviews as to who can do this, what can happen.
Godfathers left.
I leave that to I leave that to history.
I'm told they used to go to the executive mansion.
No, I don't think anybody in the executive mansion in a good mind would actually try to undercut the president's appointment. I went to the mansion and I had lunch with the president. I talked to the president on a regular basis. Any other president
But
in
the,
the mansion,
with the level of challenges,
any other president, any other
they must have
president,
been depending on a very.
it probably in the Senate, somewhere there. I don't think it's in the mansion. Whatever challenge you have at the executive mansion, you can't be more than the president. So that's what it is. And I deal with the president on a regular basis. I deal with the national security advisor on a regular basis. So whenever they have that little career quarrel and misunderstanding of their own strength, I think they got it from somebody in the Senate or somewhere there. Well, they did. A lot of them walk around the corner.
You're security, man. You're strong on intelligence.
Yes, but at this level, where am I sitting now? I will want to take those situations and say, well,
But you got some help.
I did, but all of those things are bridge, water under the bridge now, because I'm no longer at the LDA. The guys who did what they had to do, they now see exactly what the drug situation is like in our country. Because I came with the strength, my mind, my money, my funding. Nobody giving money to run the DEA. Myself, I took my security money.
Okay.
The misunderstanding they have was that the money, there was money in the DEA, there was money coming from drugs. I am not the guy who deal with drug dealers' money. They don't have money more than me. And besides, I don't think that I went to Mecca, for God's sake. I cannot come from Mecca and come and deal with drug money. That's not something I'm not going to do. I run it.
So they saw you with money, they thought you.
Yeah, they thought it was a drug money. But I come. Yeah, basically, that's
But
the
you
funny part.
actually have money.
I do. I'm not bragging at that. I'm doing business. I'm a businessman, bro.
So at a certain point, I heard you spoke about the issue of people going out to read and then people complaining that their materials.
Yeah, that became part of our problem.
And why you think it was happening? When these were
Because
professional
no. The guys we had, this is one of the reasons why I restricted reading at that time. I said to them, so look, we have almost 1,500 action agents. Action agents are guys that are not on salary. You know what I'm saying? They were dead, and we inherited those guys. Then you got 600 plus person unemployed who have fiduciary responsibility. All right, but you got 1,000 plus that are not employed. They're dead. So if you're going to raid, you actually have to take those guys from you. So it has to be properly coordinated to actually get some result from them, because they're not accountable to any systematic approach. And that's one of the reasons why we decided to restrict it, so we can basically have a way to get this thing to. That's what it was. Those are some of the impediments we had. So that was the basis for which we restricted the raiding security.
Okay, Chief. So we actually wanted to clear the house on the LDA stuff, but let's come to the meat. Why we actually invited you, which is the court process. I'm told you pressed defamation charges.
Okay, because you're right trajectory, because when you come from where we were, then you come to how we got the libel and the slander, then you come to the court issue, then you come to somebody going to jail, then somebody leaving ahead of time when they got information that they were going to be arrested.
So drill us through, basically, because
that's what I was trying to do. So after we got to the DA process, so when I saw the kid moving faster than what he can do, you start chewing what he can swallow.
Okay.
I tried to put up a little bit of restriction to it. We even had to go to the guy from the Senate there. What his name? DeLong.
Okay.
DeLong called me, and a few other guys, Amar Conan, and all the guys said, well, and Snow, they said, look, maybe want to mediate. Apparently, some of them had taken some complaint that I was not conforming to the whims and caprices. And I told them, I said, look, I am not. I told them, I gave the act. That's I told them to read it. You guys are senator. You guys confirm me. You know I've been around for a little while. There's no way I will subjugate or circumvent the process. You read it, see what I'm going wrong. Give me a criticism based upon this. Wherever I say, maybe we know none of you guys just won't be accommodated. Yeah, I accommodated them, but I have a rule. I have an act that I'm dealing with. You have certain responsibility. You have certain limitation. They, to the extent where we went back, they said, "AB, go and manage it." That's all right. I went there. We started to work, and then the situation started to go further to the point where Mr. Fadiga removed the guy who's at the DA office in Robert International Airport.
Okay,
that's not in his purview. If you check the ask question in the DA, previous that director will tell you, the guy who's responsible for the DA situation in the airport is the director of the DA. That was never even my cup of tea. Before you take those kind of action, share with me. If you remove the guy, but I came to find out later on that he has relationship with the guy brother, and they were having some little contention. So he decided to flex his muscle to the brother. All the long thing. I said, look, whatever it is, whatever the present situation is, you can't take this kind of action.
Everybody follow. We want to know why you took them to court. The merits.
The merits of that was that when I removed that guy from there, when he removed the guy from there. Because there was something, so a brother now who's not Hussein now, there was this boxes in the custom, people put some box in the back of the car. And they remember that where they said, look at drugs coming out of the RIA in on broad daylight, which is not true. Because people, the security situation at the RIA is so convoluted, it's so structured that anything before it goes, it's actually out of the airport, it goes to the custom, goes to everybody sees it. You can't be that connected to the point where they got the thing so structured that everybody would know about this drug coming out of the airport at that level, without no boxes. He used that as the basis of remove the guy without seeking any kind of guidance. I told you, I said, no, it doesn't work that way. Go back, put it there. If there's any situation here, let's investigate it. I would have known.
Was that why you took him to court?
No. So when he did that, when that happened, the guy was removed. I told you, we've seen that decision. He did not. Gave him 1 week. The second week, if you don't do it, I will do it. He didn't do it, and I took the action. Then he did some other stuff towards the Vera prison, the Vera department. I told him, look, if you do this, I will stop you from taking any action in the prison. He did not stop, and I took action. I took a decision on it. I called a staff meeting. He went in there, and I told him told it in your face with the guy. I said, look, Mr. Fadiga will have to conform to these processes. All in that, we will have to take certain stand. And he became very furious. He almost attacked me there. He started fighting. They had to hold him. He's the fight. By the end of the day, we had it. After that meeting, he and his brother went on the highway. How Abi Kuma is a drug dealer. Okay. All along, he didn't know I was a drug dealer. All along, when he accepted my
on the media,
yeah, in the media, he went in the media. Then he went to print media. And they wrote a letter to all of the embassies, the share near embassies. How I did. They could not prove it. So I asked them, so, do you have proof for these things? You maligning my character, bro. I've been around here 30-something years. I work in the United States. I come here. You cannot come and malign my character like that. You know, oh no, you think we don't know? And the basis was the
so aside from what one of them said on Spoon, but the communications that were written to the different embassies, alleging or implicating you into some kind of drug cartel and all of that, formed the basis for the
exactly. So when that happens, when I requested to rescind those processes, they didn't do it. They said they're not doing anything. Blah blah blah. My father didn't stand to defend it. They just went ahead. He gave that guy a chance just now. He come here and say, maybe it's a drug. He cannot defend it. There's nothing substantive will tell you. Just say, maybe in one of those guys, that's what he spread around. Okay. And I told him he can't do that. So when I spoke to people close to him that are coming out to talk for him about my lawsuit, nobody listened. He didn't listen to anybody.
So when the president took the decision to relieve the both of you, people felt that was a fair judgment and it was okay. Everybody's going to go their separate way. But you decided to take it for the why. The judgment wasn't fair.
Well, what happened? The president has Article 56 give the president right to hire and fire. I'm not questioning that.
And nobody he investigated the scuffle and the misunderstanding. He felt it was a fair thing to let the both of you go.
That's presidential decision. That's not an equity decision. That's president can decide to do that because look, I hire you.
But you decide whether it's fair or not.
Well, it's my.
So it wasn't fair to you.
Well, that's not my discussion today.
No, but you went to court.
I went to court because he maligned my character. He slandered me.
But didn't you say that to the president?
I did. Well, I explained that. I put that in my writing.
But the president still felt the best decision was to say, okay, the both of you can understand. You're going to sit down.
President take that decision. Personally, me and my family can take another decision as far as my character was concerned.
Okay. And
I respect the president very much. The president, again, got the right to hire and fire. But the issue that has to do with my character that I worked for 30 plus years, when I let go, I'm not going to let that go without this guy. So my thing is, when the president set up the presidential situation,
even when you were a victim of a childish action and the president still fired.
Chief, well, listen, when I had the opportunity to actually listen to that, my understanding was that, look, this guy will come to the presidential committee. He will present the evidence.
Okay.
That the statement he made will present it. These are some of the sources. These are some of the statements he made. He could not do that. And I thought basically that was one way where the Ministry of Justice will receive that document and say, look, this is the basis of argument. I can tell you, the recommendation I went to the president for the Ministry of Justice was not to fire me. Okay?
But the president fired you.
That's the president's prerogative. That's why he's the president. That's what he is. That's what president.
I know you respect the president a lot.
Very much. That's my dad now. That's my pops.
You're a little disappointed though.
Disappointment is a subjective interpretation of what you look at somebody as.
No, but that was not the outcome you expected.
That's why I call it disappointment. So from my own perspective, that was not what I thought. That was set back in my goal attainment process.
Okay. That was not the thing to do, but the president did it. So
no. You're not going to judge what the president does.
Presidents are not infallible.
Well, that's why they are president, and that's why they have electorate to come and decide whether the president next time or not president next time. So that's why they're not infallible. They give me a chance, latitude. But you're a journalist. You're sitting with this microphone with the ear plug and something like that. You decide what to say, what not to say. But I can tell you this for free, though. At the end of the day, presidential decision will all be respected. We all should respect presidential decision. But again, my family, my lawyers, my friends decided, look, you have a reputation to have a career path. You have tomorrow. These guys made this outlandish, unsubstantiated accusation. You have to get somebody to tell you whether they're right or wrong. Take it to court. Let's test the system.
Okay.
And I took it to court. I had thought that they had these things so we can battle it intellectually and legally. They didn't come to court. The reason why the guys did not come to court because they didn't have the evidence. They didn't have it because they knew that we filed lawsuit. They knew the sheriff went to them to the police station to serve them. They refused. They almost ran after they actually ran after the sheriff officer, the court officer, and they could not make that. So the sheriff officer make that return. Our civil procedure will tell you, say, look, if you have a situation and if the guys go serve you and you don't adhere to the service, then you are deemed served when the person carry on that return. Okay. So they were deemed served, and the guy went back to the court and made their returns, and then the court allowed them to actually come appear. We demanded that they actually found justice. At the end of the day, they basically could not live up to the expectation of the court, and they found them a judge for slander. And then I still presented my case in court, and the sheriff in there went and requested their presence in the courthouse. Maybe they heard about it. Somebody will hear their name being read and will come and tell them. They were right here. Both of them were here when the case was going on. They didn't do it. So they found them guilty, and I have judgment from that point. You still have 6 days to 60 days to actually respond to these things. They did not.
To do an appeal.
To do an appeal to the Supreme Court, because this is the Supreme Court. This is the Circuit Court. To them, they had the 10 days. They were right here when they went to serve them. They're aware of it. They knew we went to court. It was on Spoon radio station. I sent it to Spoon called them up and let them know that, look, you've been sued. If they have any respect for our judicial system, they would have gone there. They did not.
Okay,
they didn't go to the Supreme Court.
Why did their lawyer pray for Knee as a Republican?
Because the guys because they left the first time around, so they have essence to go to Ghana, to go to places. So we wanted the Knee as a Republican to keep them here, so that we can face justice. And that's why they got a new exit Republican. That's our law. It's not some change that was concocted by A.B. Kroma and his lawyer. This is the law. That's why the judge signed it. That's why we went to the agency to actually pursue it. But let me tell you something. Of all of the things,
what is victory for you?
I come in now. Of everything that they did not, they won with the Supreme Court. When they could not go there, they had a chance to do. They didn't do anything. The only document that these guys signed was the cost of court. When they brought the cost of court to the guy, apparently somebody had won 150,000. That was what the court cost would be. When they brought that to them,
so they signed that, agreeing that they will pay that.
No, when you sign it, I mean you agree to the 1.6 million and the 150,000. Okay, and they signed that. So the comic up one was that me being a semi-educated guy, I'm like, okay, so why did you come to court and present your case so as to battle it? And I wanted to go to Supreme Court. When they found them a judge, I wanted to go to Supreme Court so I can be part of the LLR, the Liberal Law Review, so that when your case,
so your case will be reflected.
So it reflected, but they could not do that because I'm glad, 100% sure they don't have the evidence. They don't have anything. They just talking hot air because this is what they do. And they talk.
But somebody will say, they're a kid, they were talking hot air. You could have let that slide.
No. What
letting that slide would have injured you.
It still injured my reputation. They stay at this point, except that now I'm vindicated by the legal action. But the fact that they refuse to actually come to court, I'm even hurt by the fact that they did not come so we can hear that side of the story. So the law can be reflected in the place there. But the judgment against them is something that I can take with solace.
Somebody said the 1.5 million?
1.6.
1.6 million is too much.
That's not me. I don't set those bars. Maybe they had gone to the Supreme Court.
I think that's the value of the injury cause, right?
Maybe had I gone to the Supreme Court would have reduced it or added up because I'm injured. I have contracts that were not accorded to me. I had a Chinese contract. I heard of my case and they said, well, look, this guy got some drug issues. They didn't sign my contract. That was $7 million. They didn't sign it. And I other things, and the confidence. I walked the street. I've been around here, hairs high. I'm not subjugating myself to the whims of these guys. But you cannot put this thing in the air. Because I teach at the graduate school there. And kids listen to me.
Okay.
My students listen to these things around. You can't make those kind of cases for me and you think you can go scot-free. That's one of the bases for which we took the chance. And today, I'm working freely when I walk in my classroom, I'm free because my kids know that I'm vindicated. My kids in the States know I'm vindicated. And so that's who we are.
Assessing the capacity, many librarians doubt whether the Fadiga brothers can actually raise that sum, and our society being communal, we're intertwined, and people sometimes let's talk to AB because this is not. There was the crystal.
I've gotten those stories.
There was the crystal and the rottenness here, and there were intervention. Are you open to these interventions?
Well, I don't operate in a vacuum. I am a Liberian from the traditional background.
Okay.
I've gotten tradition people calling me in here, there, and there, and
calling you to say what?
To say that there's a need to discuss this case from the court. I had a conversation with a very high person in the judicial system yesterday, which I'm not going to call the name now.
What's the interpretation of that?
The interpretation was that, look, let's not focus on detention because I wanted to make sure they are detained. But by right, the law says they should be detained until they pay this money, or there's a negotiation as to how they're going to pay.
Was that why they were released? He was released from the prison.
Well, we took the judge that released the guy we took him on appeal. So summary appeal, summary judgment, summary appeal to the.
So one thing, just quickly, why all of these conversations are ongoing to ensure that you at least have some level of consideration. This guy is still on the social wire,
talking nonsense,
making statements.
Making nonsense. He said
I heard him say he wasn't incarcerated because of your case, but he was incarcerated because of contempt of court. You know what? Also, he's still accusing you of even, in fact, threatening his life. Have you come across that?
That's nonsense. But let me tell you something. You know, I went to the center prison, right? I went there purposely to see that this dude was placed in the center. The
you don't trust the law?
I trusted the law. I've been there. I'm a law.
But they've said we're carrying these guys behind bars.
I followed them. Behind bars. I wanted to, because I know of these kind of nonsense they're going to be spreading around. That they drove his car in there because the sheriff was in custody of his car. His vehicle was being driven by the sheriff officer. All right. So they drove in the center prison because the sheriff was driving his car in there, and that was a little bit also procedure that the sheriff did, which is being reprimanded for. By right, the guy should have been let out there, walk into the place there with handcuff. That's why he should.
So that's what you wanted?
Well, that's what the law says. And they think about these guys.
In handcuff?
Should be in handcuff. That's what he says. Nothing more, nothing less. He should have been. He should have gone in there with handcuff in his hand, because this guy can say anything he wants to say. If you check the walls there, the enter that you just walk into center prison. You're not going to go there unless you are an inmate. You're an inmate. Anybody? No, he didn't go there to go visit. Did you ask him why he went into center prison? They were contempt of court. Who took you to court before you be contemptuous? Somebody took you there. I took you there. So you can say whatever you want to say about it. And if he's listening, let him take that into the bank. You went to court because you owe $1.6 million to another Liberian. That's the law.
Have anybody called you from the government to say, "Oh, AB, this has turned
a lot. I gotten calls
from the mansion.
My phone is here now.
Have you gotten call from the mansion?
He said anybody. I said anybody.
I know you've answered that. I'm asking from the mansion.
Anybody.
I'm particularly about the mansion.
I don't know.
Okay, as the president call you.
No, I'm not.
He's your friend. He's your pap.
It's my pap. You want me to give you?
As a pap call you.
You want me to talk about presidential conversation with you? Are you serious?
So one thing could be, just before we go to the lines quickly to pick few calls. One thing could be some are saying AB is in this not because of the money. He's a businessman. He got the money, but he's in this to prove a point. If yes, what's the point you're trying to prove?
Thank you. I thought that question would come a low while ago. Look, I don't need damn. These guys don't have it. I check their bank account. They don't have more than $5,000, except where the guy just started. They gave him some kind of consultancy at the finance ministry there to accommodate him after he was rejected by the French government. They tried to accommodate him at the Ministry of Finance there. They gave him some MCC position there. Maybe after a couple of months, he will get some money in his account. All right, but I'm not this kid.
But they work in America though.
Work where? The man told you you're making $20,000.
These are people making $20,000.
Get back. I beg you, man. Please.
So
please,
these are all
please. The Fiamumu thing that they were talking. But
but and are UP people.
I'm not a UPS. I'm not a UPS. I'm not a UPS. I am a consultant. If I would be anybody, I would be a Akupian. Because my brother funding something political leader of ACOP. But no, Unity Party has been my preferred political party.
What is the
and also I'm also a guy, the guy who wrote the security manifesto for the CDC. Just understand that. I did
as a contractor.
As a contractor. Well, I've always been the contractor in the business. Just so you know that.
Let's just speak because
and so I don't need this. I don't need the money. The money for these guys. I don't need it. Like you said, I wanted to set a point, make a point, and just for justice. The rule of law has always been my thing. I didn't want these guys walking around here. These two guys now put them more on precedence.
Someone say go collect the money and give it to fighting drugs.
Watch me. Don't go too far from me. Watch it. At the end of this process, the steps I will take, you see it.
No, you are saying something. They put them on president.
They guys castigated President Taylor of a person. When they were little, the podcast were doing that to talk about Charles Taylor, President Taylor. Then they jump into President Weir. Then they jump into President Bouakai himself. These guys, where are they going to stop? Nobody stopped them. Nobody ever had them accountable for anything.
Is this a bus stop for you?
For me, I'm sure at the end of this process, they will not run them off anybody after this process.
And that's what you want.
That's what I want. Okay. I want to set a deterrent.
Just few calls. 0776 104 104 86 500 104. The WhatsApp number is as well open. We can just pick few calls because we are out of time here. So 0776 104 104. Hussein Kewu is our first caller. Morning.
Thank you, Mrs. Cherry. And let me say thank you to Higa. Good morning, Director.
Yeah. What's up?
My name is Hussein. Yeah, this is Hussein Kewu. I listen to you. Let me say thank you for coming on. In fact, there should be precedent, and I love the static talk. I want to say that our religion does not, permit us taking people to court. But in the country of ours, sometimes they're good to set a precedent. Like you have said it, the code of rule. Everybody understand around the world.
So you celebrating? They come and put your United Party people in jail. You celebrating?
No, I come in. I want for Director to grab something, right? He has set the precedent already.
So you must forgive the guys.
I appreciate the court for such independence, no interference, and yes, you are getting redress. So, Director, I will ask you,
the criminal justice procedure has not concluded. They got to go to
Let's pick this person from here. Morning.
Right? From the court, you go to correction, right?
No, I can't keep you like this.
Even the correction,
others I want to come in.
When the pre-trial detention.
Yeah, but they're talking
listen, the pre-trial detention, when you spend 2 minutes in the prison, 1 minute, the father you walked, I have it, I will share with you. I have a list here, I have a letter here, the commitment. Commitment say, inmate. It didn't say Mr. Vadiga were Kosu walking there. No, he went there as an inmate.
Okay, let's talk to
as a pre-trial detention. That's what he went in.
Hello?
You live on the radio. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Daniel calling from Car Factory.
Under 30 seconds.
Yes, I will support the blue idea that you should make sure that you will be something point for them.
Okay.
Because they are very arrogant.
All right, let's talk to another person. This person, morning.
Morning.
Go ahead, you live. 30 seconds.
Yes, I'm free there. I called you from resident faculty. I want to thank you for doing that morning.
Okay, no, let's talk to this person. 30 seconds. Morning. Sorry to the public for that. Morning. Hello. Okay, let's pick this person from this line. Morning.
Man, a rule beginning.
You live on the radio. 30 seconds.
How are you this morning?
Yeah, he's listening.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine, sir.
I want to commend the guest in the studio there for brilliant actions that he takes. Somebody to tarnish your reputation is that kind of way internationally. So may God guide him. And Abu, you start to give me your number. Why? Because I like your parents think of what you are doing in the studio.
Right.
You want me to call you?
All right,
I'll get it.
yeah, I will get number to you. Let's talk to this person. Morning, you live. Go ahead, 30 seconds. Okay, like John Palmer always on John. It's like John Palmer always on John West.
What babe? Jump on.
My brother, then I always.
The man, my brother. The man, my brother.
Let's talk to this person. 30 seconds. Morning.
I mean, I'm so man. I'm a
Morning, you live.
Not brother.
Yeah, I was here, but it's a big lion. Yeah.
You can talk to somebody like that. Yeah, I already did. So morning. Morning. You have to first tell us where the man live. Who is that? Morning.
Who line?
Yeah, this is Ibrahim Sheriff call from Conway.
Go ahead.
The man as a director, knowing the fact that
Come on, director.
No, once you director.
Go ahead.
No, I'm always director, man.
Yeah, the left position.
Yeah, don't mind. What could be a point of concern, director, and knowing the fact that they didn't need to tell the president we are all the president can do to him. And you and Landa don't have to do you, and they think you're better to court.
I didn't.
All right, just 1 or 2 calls. This person, morning, 30 seconds.
Yeah, good morning.
You live. Go ahead.
I'm Mohammed Sherry. I'm calling from Papa City.
Go ahead, move.
Yeah, I really admire the director for taking the bodyguard development board, and I want you to push it to the logical conclusion.
Okay.
Because up to now, they have not got tired of maligning a character.
Okay. All right.
He went as far as Sabina said the director had gone on his side when they had a confrontation in a restaurant, so you want to get tired.
All right.
They push it to the logical conclusion.
Okay. Just one of the person. Loudly.
Good morning.
Morning, you live.
My name is Kame Kibla calling from Ghana.
Go ahead, Ghana.
Yeah. I want to tell your guest, thank you so much. There's a good thing to do to go for the law whenever there's something that you disagree on.
All right. Thank you very much. We are out of time.
Listen.
Okay, so just to cool off a little bit, why Conor Kuma gives us starting comment. Listen to
They follow up these guys. They're like they have no control as far as the actual situation. They don't have no restriction. One thing I know, the number dealing with people. And you say we're Muslim, but they're not Muslim. So we don't have similar aspects. Yeah, we all agree. Okay. Well, the father came as a Senegalese or wherever it is. My father came as a Liberian. We never came from anywhere else. Well, yeah. So we're two different people. That I want to just put that caveat.
so they're not John Palmer on
Not John Palmer raised on John Rice. We're not something that John Rice here. Palmer came come from different issue with regards to this thing. But then the issue with regard
to rescue.
I know a contract.
Palmer,
that man not rescue man. That man, those guys being
y'all come inside question.
No. Listen now. Let me I just tell you something. That
so
guy
more rescue men than
no. Listen now. The rescue team. I into the rescue discussion. If I rescue me, I'll not be sitting now outside job. So don't tell me that thing. But listen though, this is what it is.
Yeah.
This guy, he started as a Kumi man. Kumi put out what is how they call it?
ANC.
No. We started ANC party. Got their own slogan.
We know they're not popular like
they
that.
do have,
That
well, they
one
have
person
one before.
No, but they're not popular because one person.
Okay, so
became
one
very
person. All right, so
popular.
yeah, so the guy there, they came from Cummins because they consider themselves diaspora people. All our diaspora people anyway. They're not diaspora more than me. That's the funny part about the whole process. But so from Cummins, they came to they even went to the CDC at one point in time. Then they come back to BYC. They spent some time there.
No,
they had discussions. Yeah, they do.
That character only fit around United Party.
No, come on.
But we gotta go.
No, but so at the end of the day, that's why I said it. But so they've been around making hot airs all around the place. We try to find a way where we can set some record straight with them. Because at the end of the day, if we don't do that, this is a country of law. These guys will go ahead and just castigate anybody at will and will not be able to control them. And this is my own contribution towards the stability of our process here.
Thank you very kindly. And of course, his name is Abraham Nkrumah. He's been our guest here, and time is way off. CEO of Pala Security, one of the biggest Liberian-owned private security company, providing maximum. And of course, until we see you tomorrow, do have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.